Hello, lovely ones, and welcome back to the Take 10 series. This is where we spend 10 minutes going over marriage tips for marriages in crisis or turmoil. And my name is Kimberly and I want to welcome you back. So today's topic is a really sensitive issue. It's about affairs, but this is an answer to the number 2 request that I have from you wanting information. So what to do about affairs? What to do if you've either fallen into one, or if your husband had an affair, or, can your marriage be saved? Can you reconnect? So many questions, and there's so much at stake, so I get it. And I want to tell you that yes, marriages can be saved after affairs. As a matter of fact, sometimes an affair can be a catalyst for a marriage to finally wake up and see that things are wrong and that one or both of the partners are not getting what they need. It's an opportunity to rebuild and restructure something and actually come out stronger on the other side. It takes a lot of work. It takes 2 committed partners. And very often what happens is the reason the affair can be like one of the top reasons for divorce is because the couple realizes at this point that what was broken has been broken for a long time. And it's an opportunity, like I said, a catalyst for them to understand that it really isn't salvageable. So I want to first off ask you to give yourself grace wherever you are, whether you are in the midst of having an affair, whether your husband had an affair, whether you had an affair and you're trying to reconnect, or whether your husband did, wherever you are, if this is a topic, if you're concerned about whether he's having an affair, or if you're concerned about if you're vulnerable for an affair, I just want to encourage you, I want to give you a great big hug and tell you to just take a deep breath. It is painful. It is difficult. My first marriage ended because my ex-husband fell in love with someone else. And although he went to great lengths to explain to me that he never had sex with her, for me that wasn't the issue, because as women, as the nurturer, as the heart, the caregiver of the relationship, the family, women, I'm speaking just for us, are more devastated by the emotional infidelity even than the sex. And that is also the reason that we become vulnerable to an affair or fall into an affair, because we do not have that emotional connection that we want and need in our marriage. And maybe we've tried everything to communicate it, and maybe it's just not possible. Maybe he's not capable. Or what I have discovered very often is that we aren't really clear on exactly what it is we want from our marriage, from our husband, from the relationship. And then really open to looking at what another human being can fulfill in our lives. And as it happens, as our lives go on in our marriage, things happen. Difficult issues, time, age, health, children, finances. There's so many things that come up that can either become a bridge for us to grow closer, or it can become that thorny thing in our side that creates distance. So whatever it is, an affair happens because one or both partners are not getting what they need from the relationship. This also becomes a great place for us to justify, or for our husbands to justify and to blame. And I just want to encourage you not to blame him and not to allow him to blame you, but to understand instead that there was something that was fundamentally broken. And now there's the opportunity to look at it and see if it's repairable, or if you want to repair it. To begin to ask those questions. So let's address this like one point at a time. I've just addressed if you're vulnerable to an affair, it's because you're feeling unheard, unloved, unappreciated, unsomething. The remedy to that is, again, to get really clear on what it is that you want. I can help you do that. I can help you create a list, be very specific, help you learn how to talk to your husband, to ask for the things that you want, how to distinguish between codependency and actually empowerment. If you have had an affair and you have decided to end the affair and stay in your marriage, I want to encourage you to drown yourself in self-forgiveness and try to step outside of that spinning cycle of trying to understand why it happened. It happened because there was something you needed that you weren't getting. Or it happened because you lost yourself in your marriage and you didn't really understand it. It happened because there was a wounding there that someone else was able to come in and heal you from. It's like a balm on your heart. So moving past the what ifs and whys and how could this happen will help you so much in learning how to reconcile with your husband. It will also help you in understanding that both of you have to come together. Both of you have to be willing to forgive, because you're going to have to forgive him for the things that were not right in your marriage to start with. And then he's going to have to forgive you for the trust issues. But you can do this together if you decide to and you're committed to. Now, if he was the one who had an affair or is having an affair, and it either broke up your marriage or you were trying to reconcile your marriage, either way, if you have children, you realize that you're going to be in each other's lives forever. So reconciliation is really, really important. Now, if you decide to stay in your marriage and yet you can't let go of those spinning thoughts about why did it happen? How could he do this to me? He doesn't love me. How could he fall in love with someone else? I'm going to post a link underneath this video to a blog site that was written by a man who believed that he had found his soulmate. And he goes into this whole story of explaining how there had been no connection in his marriage for a long time, and he simply felt like his only job was to be a bread earner and to make things happen. But he was feeling emotionally disconnected. So it does happen with men too. Now, he also goes on to explain how the affair ended, how devastated he was, and he and his wife are now solidly committed to their marriage and have a very strong marriage. So I want to help you understand that, as impossible as it may seem, it is possible for you to let go of the things that have happened and to rebuild that trust if you're both committed to that. It will require a lot from you. And I understand that, and I know how hard that can be. It will also require that he is not blaming you and is truly remorseful and asks for your forgiveness. But it's not something he can ask for every single day, multiple times a day. It is something that you're going to have to search for, and that all begins with your thoughts, because your thoughts are what create your feelings. And I'm not here to suggest that it's easy, but I am here to suggest that it can be done. It requires some practice, but you can come out the other side of this, trusting your husband again, loving your husband again, and releasing all of those nagging doubts that you have about what's wrong with me, why did this happen, how could he choose her? So the key to all of this is compassion, forgiveness, and grace. It also, as I said before, and I'm going to repeat this, is a wonderful opportunity for you to evaluate what it is that you need and want in your marriage, and if that is obtainable in your marriage. Again, you know, some marriages were not meant to last for a lifetime. Some were, and they go through bumps like this and they grow stronger. But you're the only one that can answer those questions. Now, one thing I want to encourage you to be very clear with yourself about, very honest with yourself. I said you have to understand what it is that you want. Please do not transfer all of your wants to this new person. He may seem like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he may be. And he may be your soulmate. And he may be the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, that you end up with. But getting clear and clean in your current relationship with your husband, in your marriage, before you embark on another relationship with someone and you transfer all of your hopes and dreams and desires for happiness to that person, will serve you so much better. Because going forward, it's important to understand that with your lover, in an affair, we're not really having to deal with a lot of really hard things, which is why statistically relationships that begin as affairs, usually there's only a 2 to 3% rate of that turning into a long-term relationship. Because it was begun because of a need that was not being met in a marriage. It was begun with romance and excitement and the adrenaline rush, and none of the hard things that are required in a long-term relationship. So my best advice to you, and what I want to encourage you to do, is to get really, really solid and clean and clear with you, because you are amazing. And there's so many things, as I said before, only you can give to yourself. So before that dream comes through of you transferring all that to another man, find it in you first. I can help you do that. And for today, that is all we're going to talk about. But if you have questions, please drop them in. Please send me an email. Hit me up, kim@themarriagemythcure.com. Join our private Facebook group. I will put the link in underneath here. I am here to help you, to encourage you, and to give you hope that turmoil, crisis or not, you can recreate, rebuild your marriage if you want to, or use this opportunity to create the life that you want to live. And so until we meet again, I'm going to say à tout à l'heure and de bisous.